gonna play the intro, Ja.
This Three Bears Media podcast may contain mature themes and may not be suitable for all audiences.
Football is back, baby. What's up, y'all? Your boy George Trice here. Marcus Pfizer here. Mr. Brent Curvey is going to jump on. We'll get shipped to pull him on in a minute. And today we got a special guest, Jermaine Billups. So, Ja, welcome to the show, man. This is we want to welcome you. This is what we do. We try to do it once a week to keep our audience involved and engaged with us. But we bring on some different people at different times, and wanted to make sure we got you on. And I got you on. The reason why I asked you on the show today is actually because Shipley talked to you before the show about you being one of his favorite players. I don't know if you saw, he tweeted about you a couple days ago. And I'm like, you know what? Let's get Ja on, talking about what's going on, the big win, defense winning. I go back to one of my fond memories of Ja. We had in the beginning, we had, Mr. Curvey on the defensive end running that back. What's up, Curvey?
What up?
But Ja broke it for us 2000 for our first bowl game in a long time. It was Inside.com bowl, and I had some money on that game because y'all played Pitt, and one of my homeboys went to Pitt. It was just a gentleman's bet. Like, it wasn't like gambling. We're not talking about gambling. It was a gentleman's bet. He went to Pitt, so I had to get on him. And so I was at that game, and I saw you get out there. Like, again, I don't know how that came about. You could tell us how you ended up out there on that spot. I kind of heard stories. I know JJ was hurt. It was a bowl game. You pulled all the stops out, but we'll get to that. But we want to welcome everybody here. So, Ja, introduce yourself. Tell us what you are up to right now, and let's get the ball rolling.
Cool. Well, I appreciate the intro, fellas. And one thing, I appreciate y'all putting me on the show, man. This is an awesome platform y'all got going on right now. Whatever y'all doing, man, keep it up. It's looking good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Right now, just living that normal dad life, working. I got a wonderful wife, 2 beautiful kids, man, 2 dogs. I think a snake and some other lizards in the house that my kids got. But man, I'm blessed. I can't complain about nothing. Living in North Carolina, I work for the city of Concord, and just doing firefighting out there, my full-time job. And I do part-time firefighting in the Charlotte area as well. So just staying busy, man, just giving my time to the people and trying to keep the city safe.
Salute you on that. I know we just catching you getting off work, so I know you probably tired. You did your 24?
I did 24 last night, and then I did 12 hours a day. So I just got off about 7 o'clock.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to keep him awake, y'all, today.
This little spice to keep me rolling.
Okay, yeah. I still don't have no Revelton in my house, Shipley. Yep, I see you back there shaking your head. I still have no more Revelton. I got 1 bottle. We've been doing this for almost 2 years, and I only got 1 bottle. Raise your hand if you want another bottle from Rob. And Rob, I want another bottle.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
Hey, we got one too.
We've been out of Revelton.
So Revelton is a distillery in Iowa, Osceola, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chip.
Yep.
Okay, I was making sure I say it right. Osceola. They started, story, we went and got a tour, and basically you look at the fact that we have all that corn there going for ethanol.
Yep.
Why not make some whiskey out of it, make some bourbon? And so, Rob does a great job out there and is getting a great following, and he's been sponsored some things. He sponsored us and my nonprofit and some things. Ship has worked with him on some things, but Rebelton is what's up. So what I want to say first right now is because I know Marcus, you will appreciate what I'm about to say, and John, you will appreciate what I'm about to say. Brent, you will too, but these two are going to get what I'm going at. I just want to share a picture of Gene Smith. So Gene was integral in me coming to Iowa State. He's from Cleveland. I'm from Cleveland. And he was the AD that got me out here to even look at Iowa State. And so just an overall good dude. And when I need some advice, fatherly advice, mentor advice, he's always one to give it to you straight. And he's retiring from Ohio State next year. So he's getting one more year, and he announced his retirement. So I just wanted to shout out to Gene Smith.
Big shout
Y'all
out.
got any stories about Gene?
I mean, other than what you said, him, just being a great individual, great man. He was pivotal for me at Iowa State as well. Having that, that African American leader that was there that you could, talk to and get advice from, and someone that was going to tell you like it was, and not, just telling you the things that you per se needed to hear.
Yeah.
For me, that was very, very profound. Leaving from Louisiana, small town in Louisiana, going into the middle of Iowa, not knowing what to expect, not knowing how to deal with the snow, not knowing how to deal with college, sports, and being a student athlete. I mean, that's, people don't understand how taxing that is, for individuals and student athletes. Like, people think everything is all great and gravy because you get to play a sport and succeed in that, but they don't understand the study halls and having to go to class when you're tired and body sore and all that different stuff. So having him there, like I said, having an African American there, a man that can relate to you like a father figure, that was extremely big for me.
Yeah. No, that's.
Oh yeah, I'll say the same as what Marcus said. I think he left either my sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was my sophomore year, going to my sophomore year, and man, super good dude. The bad thing was that he left. That was it.
Right, right.
For him to be in that position and could relate to us, and then him leaving, it was kind of like, dang. But it's all good.
Yeah, no, he did a great job, in that time frame. He was there when Jack Trice was getting renamed. He turned it over, and Jamie has been doing this thing to get athletics back, because I know, John, you were back in. I wasn't there when you were there. I think it was 07, 06 or 07 or something like that. You came back for a game, you got to see the new facilities and everything. And I think even since the last time, because you haven't been back since then, have you?
No, it was actually I came back around that time, and then also I think it was last year. Either last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last year. Yeah, man, came back, took a tour of the facilities. I mean, there's been some changes. Everything's been upgraded how it should be as far as getting the program to where it needs to be at. But man, it looked good, man. It was sad that I wasn't there as far as when I was playing to have that. But
right.
They earned it. The program has earned it. So
yeah, for real.
Yeah, salute to them.
Yeah, athletics did some good things getting that equipment in there. I got a chance to tour it. I think it might have been 13 is when they did like one of the bigger remodels, and that's when I was there and got a chance to tour it. But yeah, and it was nice being in there. So shout out to our ADs again. Shout out to Gene Smith on what he does doing out there. So
and that feels, to piggyback off of that, it feels good. I mean, it feels good to go. I spend a lot of time in the football facility, working out with Gideon and the rest of the football team and stuff like that, trying to get strong like them guys. But it feels good to be able to go into like the new football practice field and all that different stuff. And it feels like, man, we here to compete. We're not the laughing stock of the Big 12 anymore. And, to walk through the halls, to see the statues and the guys in the uniforms, like this feels like a really a big time pro facility. And for us to have that, that's something to be proud about for sure.
Yeah.
But like Josh said, we definitely wish we was there during that time.
Yeah.
Basketball
when
practice.
we used to take trips.
Man.
We used to take trips, man, to like go play UT, Oklahoma, anywhere down there where they had tradition behind them and all that money behind them. Man, it was sad. It was sad because we go back to Iowa State and we're like, man, we ain't got nothing. And now what they have now is like, man, they compete, man. It's you get that, you start that recruiting and you bring those boys to campus and they see what we got going on.
Right.
You can make a decision.
And even it's like when you get a dome, when a new stadium gets a dome, and now that you have an indoor facility, given the harsh winters, and Brent, about playing it, practicing and playing in that, like that's a big change in having to be outside doing that in the brutal elements. You got to get prepared in the elements, but to be comfort, to learn what you got to learn, it was nice to have all those things out there. Let's see. Let's be real. The laughing stock of the Big 12 was KU. They had a track around the football field. So we were beating KU. So and for Brandon Thomas to say that, Brandon Thomas is a KU fan, but it's about basketball with him. So but yeah, no, it's all good. Well, I'm gonna pivot to this right here because I'm not gonna be at the Iowa State game this weekend, but I'm gonna be here.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to the Nebraska-Colorado game on Saturday.
Oh, you lucky.
Yeah. So I'm going there. We pick one big game a year. And I just wanted to do that because I went to the national championship in LA in January and saw TCU and Georgia play as well. So, and then, I was at TCU's first game when Iowa State, when they joined the conference, we played at TCU. I was at that game because my son was living down there at that time. So I was at that game for the first game between the meeting between those. And now it's like going to see CU coming back in, where Curvey, had the big play coming back into us. But I'm going to be out there, kicking it for a little bit. But I brought that out and I brought that up because one of the things that John, you would know about Marcus, you and Curvey, y'all know is it doesn't matter what you call them, what the words are, but I think Prime has L and D on his on their jerseys. So it's like what is it? Leader and dog. Leader and dog. But the reason why I say that is because we've had some turmoil, we've had some changes in our stuff was going on. And as you said, I kind of put a hashtag on my notes today, Brent, when you said next man up. So it's hashtag next man up. And you look at the captains for the football team this year. These are kids that had to step up because we had so many changes of all our starters going out, and you're getting these next men up being the captains because now they've had to take that leadership role and do something with it. And so I think I want to shout out these kids because I applaud them, especially for this year, to come out and, and take on this extra responsibility. Now they're all, like I said, we always talk about D1 athletes and they are out there because they can play. But again, they're stepping up to be a leader as well, given all the turmoil that's been going on off season for them. So I just want to talk about that next man up because Brent, you had to deal with it. Marcus, you did, and Jai, you did. And for us to do that and then come out there and win against UNI, commandingly. And we saw what we really do, some of the weapons that we had that we might not have known or might not have thought we had. That was something special.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of taps into the recruiting piece of it that Coach Campbell has done, repeatedly back to back. He gets good recruiting classes, young, talented dudes. And I know personally quite a few of those kids that signed with this most recent class. A lot of those kids are from Iowa, Boo Sama and JJ Cole. And so I got to watch a lot of those kids play here. And I knew had they got a chance, they would, they step up. They weren't afraid of the light. So, I mean, given the culture and what that guy preaches, I mean, it was only fitting that whoever had to step up was going to, because I'm sure he gave them all the confidence in the world to take the field and not worry about a thing.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you got it.
I was gonna say when you play behind, or you see, your players that your boys that you've been working out with, sweating everything, putting it all on the line, and those guys take off. They kind of leave them shoes for you to fill. So it's only natural for you to kind of step up and get in that leadership role. And then you see the potential that your boys are going to be put through. So it's like, why not? The potential for them for this season is it's high. So they definitely need a group of people that's going to be able to go out there, have that dog in them, and still be a leader, be a motivator. Everything, all those qualities that you need, they need that out there. So, it's good for them to be in that role right now.
Yeah,
right.
and like you said, John, when you've had people in front of you that you've seen how they operate and they were the captains, and for whatever reason they moved on, you know how to conduct yourself when you're in that role. I didn't become a captain until my junior year. And I think my freshman year, Clay Edwards was the captain, and then my sophomore year, I think it was Stevie Johnson and one other person, I forget exactly who it was, because I was growing, even though you want to call me quote unquote the star or whatever, but still I had to grow into that role. Coach Eustace and Coach Floyd just wasn't putting me into that role because I was coming in with whatever kind of accolades. They had to put me in that role and to understand and trust. Did I want to be a captain? Absolutely. But when I became a captain my junior year, I understood that I wasn't ready for the role my freshman and sophomore year. I was just out, a kid just hooping, not really understanding, the responsibility that comes along with that. And, even though these guys on Colorado now are young and, some of our guys are young, you've seen they've been through college football for 1 year, or they've seen the guys ahead of them, and now they're put into that role where, they can lead, and, the team is expecting a lot of them. So definitely big shout out to them for that. We're looking for great things. We're very excited. Love to see that game that we had last Saturday to continue on this season.
Yeah, and Nihilus, you said it, we have had some of the success we've had in the past. We've had a player-led team with great leaders and role models for younger guys to follow. So again, he does, coach preaches, practice what he preaches. And so that's just one of the things that I've learned about him, and knew a little about him, heard a little bit about him in Ohio, being from Toledo and being from Toledo where he was, but didn't know much about him. And then getting to see him how he is. And I've only met him once, and it's been he's a quiet guy when he needs to be quiet, and he's gonna be loud when he needs to be loud. So I appreciated that about him. Anything else you want to say about that one? All right. I do want to answer this question real quick because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I just want to answer that. Put this question up there. Brandon, did I have any input on the design of the legacy uniforms? No, I did not. That is a sore subject sometimes when you bring that on our show. But I did not have anything to do with that. The university keeps that close to the cuff. One of the reasons is people don't understand, and then our athletes on here understand that athletics is a business. Athletics is a part of the university, but the state funding that the schools get, the athletic program doesn't get that money. They have to increase and raise revenue by bringing a program and bringing out a product that people want and need. And so their role and their goal is to bring money in for all the sports that we have. Yes, I remember, my boy DeJuan White, when he played baseball, we had a baseball team back in the day. It was like, man, you think about some of these guys that I knew when we had a baseball team, we had to cut some of these things out because of the funding and what was a viable, sport at that time. So the university did take control. They pretty much control a lot of the image and things that you see of Jack Trice. And that's what we're kind of trying to fight for now, is to, share that and the fact that the family would like to be more involved in how his name, image, and likeness is used. And so we are working with some things and working with the university and trying to work with the university in that aspect. And that's what I'll say about that one. So as we move on, we won. We had a great game this past Saturday. But before we get in that, I know, right? But before we get in that, we're gonna play our Revelton. We're gonna pay these bills real quick.
At Revelton Distilling Company, everyone has become a part of the Revelton family. From the Taylors and their daughter who helped perfect their award-winning gins, to the team who installed Lucy, our 33-foot tall custom-made still, right down to the local farms that provide our coveted corn, and even the cows on those farms who consume our mash byproduct. Want to see the farm to flask come to life? Now you can tour Lucy and find out where we take Iowa's harvest and transform it into our finest spirits. Choose between a 45-minute tour or find out even more by scheduling a VIP behind-the-scenes tour to get the taste of the full Revelton experience. You can visit them at 1400 West Clay Street in Osceola, Iowa, or find all of Revelton's award-winning spirits at any local grocery or spirits retailer.
UNI. So we had to let UNI know who we were on Saturday. And so, as we talked about the next man up, Brent, don't laugh at me, man. I just felt like doing that.
You try? Hey, I ain't mad at it, man.
I mean, just because you tired from just getting from practice,
Hey,
wake
never
up,
stops. Man. It never stops. I'm cool. My glass is starting to get a little empty, but we
just had a commercial. I should have told you when the commercial break was, because I'm out too. But I might have to have one of my young kids bring me something. They my kids, so I can have them bring me stuff. But yeah, a great win. Pick sixes, scoring 4 and out, 3 and outs 4 times in a row. Like, what did y'all think of the game? Oh, hold on, I gotta put this one on there. Toya, John, you knew. I don't know if you met Toya when you were there, but you knew Tom Hill. So this is the new Tom Hill, and she told me corny right now. She called me a cornball. I see you, Toya. But yeah, I mean. Next man up, and we came out there and played. What did y'all think of the game when y'all sitting there watching this? What was going through y'all mind?
Well, I mean, for me, I was glad we was able to start this thing off 1-0. I mean, we needed to see what it was going to be like with, losing so many players. The next man up roles being about and seeing what we can do to capitalize on the things that's going to be coming forward. We know we got the biggest game in the world coming next week or this week, against, that other team down the street. So that was encouraging enough to see, okay, we're going to knock off one rival in the state of Iowa. Definitely looking to knock off the second one. So that's very promising to see, the guys get out and play that well. Hopefully we can continue that progress, that can progress on and continue to, learn winning ways. Forget about the past, forget about what has, taken place in the last couple of weeks and months or so, and just get this thing rolling and snowball into the Big 12 and, see what's going to happen the rest of the year.
I wasn't surprised by the defense. Haycock always does a good job in getting those fellas ready. And, our D-line, we lost, oh, goodness, I forget the other, outside of McDonald, the kid from Minnesota, but the other D lineman. So we were down 2 guys, but those other guys behind them had so much playing time and experience, and it kind of showed up this weekend. So it was good to see that. They were flying around too. So I think next week is going to be it's going to be a back and forth defensive battle, if you ask me. But that's what, the guys who love football, that's kind of what we watch it for. You know what I'm saying? I think having the 2 quarterbacks kind of, spicing up the offense a little bit, creating some new competition out there against live competition or other competition, I should say, was a really good thing too. Let both of those young boys get some time and game time and game feel, because that speed is totally different. And yeah, to his point, Abu Sam was going to be, he's a boy. I watched him for a while. He's going to be special. That's for sure.
That's what's up. And our last pick six was actually in 2021. Jake Hummel did it in 2021. So that's the answer to that question there. John, what'd you think of the game? Were you able to see it? You were working. You had the 24 on. Were you able to actually see it and sit down and enjoy it?
Yeah. I was able to watch it, and man, I'm telling you, all 3 aspects of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. I mean, it couldn't got any better. I mean, it could have if it would have been, they gave him the 0 on that scoreboard for them. But other than that, man, they had a tempo going. They kind of kept up with the tempo, and just making plays. Both sides of the ball, special teams, just making plays. that's all you really want. And if you keep executing that and keep it consistent, then you got high hopes for the W.
Yeah, I was trying to see how many penalties were called in this game because, you know, if there weren't a lot, I didn't see a lot, but if you look at, there's a lot of penalties called, you blame the ref, you don't blame the team. When there's no penalties called, you say the team, you know, did what they did. And that's what I want to say is that if the team plays a good, clean football game, you're going to have less penalties. And so I look at this and say, hey, don't say we talk about the refs all the time. Next week's going to be different. The refs next week are different. And so some of the things that, you know, again, this is a early for our refs in our season 2. It can go either way. That's the reason why I say that I hope the refs don't take this game into their hands and let these boys play. You know, I know it hasn't, people say it hasn't really been, you know, Iowa's Super Bowl like it had in the past because we've only won one in the last 11, you know, and so, or something like that. But, you know, it's not the Super Bowl anymore because it's been so lopsided. But it seems like we're starting to get their number and do some things. And if we can keep this momentum up through this weekend, I know we can do well.
I mean, man, to piggyback on what Josh said, special teams was kind of our Achilles heel in years past against this team. And I think seeing how these boys stepped up this past week, that gives us a lot more excitement just because, I mean, a 56-yarder field goal and that kid, I mean, that punt was crazy. It was like 70-some yards. So he totally flipped the field, and that changes ball games. So having those aspects, I think, you know, changes things drastically in our favor.
Yeah, there's one comment out here is somebody said Joel said the offense was pretty quiet. And I was looking at that because 13:08 is when when ISU did anything in the game. It was like it was 0-30. And then I think, you know, that's when they started to score, you know, so we didn't really do much. Offense didn't really do much in the fourth quarter. But at that time, nobody really cared because we were winning. So they weren't even thinking about that. But the fourth quarter, we were quiet. So, you know, Joel, thanks for pointing that out. But it's like, how do we keep the momentum throughout the whole game? It's one of the things is that toughness and not just stopping, because I know you want to stop to your opponent. You don't want to slaughter them and things like that. But the first game of the season, to get prepared, especially when one of your biggest games is the following week, don't let off that gas. I just hope they didn't lose any of that gas going into the start of this week and be a little complacent, because I don't want them to come out flat-footed. They can't come out flat-footed next week no matter what.
No, when you got like a lead like that, everything, you know, everybody's firing on all the cylinders. Like at that time of the game, at the point of the game, I mean, you kind of want to ease up because you don't want to give them everything you got. That's giving the other team more, you know, film to study and things like that. So I applaud them. I think they did a good job how to finish that out.
Mm-hmm.
Let so many people play. Let them young guys get in there, get a little taste, because they got to get judged on the grading too. So give everybody a little bit of chance to get some experience, and then from there you start molding to what you want to go into for next week, and then you see how it works.
Okay. Yep, and somebody said, Niall said the same thing you said. You know, get them some playing time and get them ready for the rest of the season. You know, get everybody in there, next man up. So that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty sweet when you look at what we're doing and how we came out. Again, all the adversity. But next week we do play that team over there. So when you look at that team over there, what did y'all look at and see what they look like? I try not to watch them that much, but I was watching them a little bit. I didn't even look at no highlights. So I need our listeners and our viewers. What made y'all worried about going against Iowa going next week? What did you see this week? If you want to answer that on our Twitter or anything like that, what did you see this week? I'm gonna kind of switch it because when does NFL start?
Thursday, right?
This Thursday. Now it's time for the older boys. You know, we got so many dogs in the fight right now that made it on these 53-man rosters. And last week, John, we had a conversation about, when you're trying to get cut down, because our episode was the day before. So when you try to cut down, the teams and get everybody situated, get them on, and the players that we had drafted all made the 53-man roster, which is pretty awesome to have. And then we got two of our, could have been fighting for rookies of the year, but both had injuries, and then now they're both out. So now they're both back. So when you look at that, we got a lot of cheering to do this year. And I know some people like me the Steelers is not a team that I would like to cheer for or ever talk about. Just like some people in the Midwest don't like to talk about Green Bay. But we got to cheer for all those teams or all the Iowa State players, no matter what colors they're wearing. You know, just like Brent, if your son don't choose Iowa State and he go to that team over there, we're not going to support him in that. That's different.
Nah, I'm not either.
That's different. If we didn't know,
I'm not either.
They write the check. All the scholarships.
I mean, yeah. I'm glad you out there, man. Be safe. Love you next week. Shit, it ain't gonna be a whole lot coming from me if you go out there.
That's what's up. So we did get Diddy said we got a better O-line, but the big uglies need to move them off the line. So, you know, we gotta do it. They gotta move them feet. You know, I look at when Marcel Howard, you know, how good Sel's feet was. And John, you know, I was just with Sel a couple weeks ago, but Sel for an offensive lineman had good feet, quick off the line, was able to push, and that's what these boys got to do. And so they got to have them quick feet next week, and they got to just be on point when that whistle blow. You know, we talked about John 4 to 6, A to B. The focus 3 was a little thing that Urban Meyer talked about. You know, football players 4 to 6 seconds from point A to B. You know, just got to keep that in their mentality. And I think we did a good job of that this week. It's like, hey, play after play, let's go, let's do it. Especially, you know, forcing 3 and outs. You know, that the forcing 3 and outs in the game, no matter what team it is, you force 3 and outs because you can mess up an assignment and somebody can break that. You know, but you know, we'll see what happens there. Anything else we have out there? Had to cheer for New York Jets and the Cyclones and New York Clones. I watched more of the Alabama game after our game. I watched some of that Michigan game, and then I watched that Alabama game. I wanted to see how that young quarterback was going to do. And if he plays the way he was playing, he's going to be a force to reckon with, and Alabama ain't going to lose a step. So, you know, that's what I'll say about that. But I don't got nothing else. I'm trying to look on what's on my notes and see what else I got. We had Big 12 Player of the Week, Jeremiah Cooper. You know, he got that. You know, he was the first since Orion Vance. So Marcel Spears and then Orion Vance in the Fiesta Bowl. So shouts out to Jeremiah Cooper. But I did want to see and talk about one thing. And I talked about this last week. And I'm not going to talk about what I said last week. And this has nothing to do with what I said last week. But I do want to shout out. We talk about players of the game and players doing their thing. And the thing that I want to share is this right here. So we talked about this. And you talk about how do you, recognize somebody. And we lost a coach a few years back. And every year, there's somebody that gets selected to wear the number 58. And so this is one of the things that Iowa State does well. So redshirt junior J.R. Singleton, he's going to be the defensive lineman to wear number 56 in honor of our former coach, Curtis Bray. So, you know, shouting out somebody like that, you know, people can win money for scholarships and awards and stuff like that. But to be recognized by the team, just to celebrate someone that we lost and to wear that number and be the one selected to wear that number, I want to shout him out for being player of the game. So in my mind, you know, just as what he's doing, because I was looking at some of these media day pictures and things like that, and we don't have a children's hospital right behind the stadium, but you know, some of the things that these kids do in the community and what the We Will Collective is kind of making them do in order to earn the support that they're getting from the people for the collective and for their NIL. They're doing some things in the communities and with the kids that need it and the kids that look up to them. So since shouts out to all these kids and all these people that are doing that extra mile. And so Toya says she met his family, J.R. Singleton's family, on Saturday and said they're good people. But those are the type of things that we have to do as a Cyclone, as wherever we are doing what we're doing and keeping that going. So I had to throw that out there. But again, looking forward to next week. What do y'all want to hit on? Because I got nothing else because it was a holiday weekend and I was actually smoking. You know, I made 6 center cut thick pork chops about 2 inches long. I know you don't like that, Marcus. I made some chicken wings. Sorry there again. Had macaroni and cheese. You know, do you eat macaroni and cheese?
Who? No.
No macaroni and cheese neither.
No. If it has some diet cheese in it. The diet cheese.
Diet cheese.
No. It's called diet. How you spell it? DIAYA?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
okay.
Diet, not diet.
I said diet.
That's
I
what's
think you
up.
should
No,
ask Ja to share a couple stories, man, from his times and the good moments, bad moments. I know Ja didn't like me when I first came in because I couldn't jump rope. But
Oh, so tell us that story then. That's,
Yeah,
why are we waiting to get to this now? Tell us that story.
How you couldn't jump rope?
Make it plain and simple. Getty, you know how Getty is with them workouts. So it's usually about 3 minutes is kind of like the average of like you got to go 3 minutes, no breaks on the jump rope, and if you break, you just continue the jump roping. So it's either that or he'll make you do something else. So curveball, I mean, when he first came in, he was struggling a little bit. I mean, everybody struggled with jump roping for no breaks. Like everybody gonna struggle until you can get it down. So you know what? It's just extra work we had to do, and hey, we did it. So
man, he being nice. I'm gonna tell you
Right.
how it was. So when I come in, it was like, oh damn, I got it. Nah, I'm on the bike. Nah, who started with jump rope first? Oh, Kirby on jump rope. I'm gonna get on the med ball. Everybody was getting out of my group as fast as possible because they knew. I mean, I just couldn't get. I could jump rope, but the way Getty wanted us to jump rope, it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So we was gonna go for another 3-4 minutes.
Oh yeah, you jump a rope with Getty. It's like you trying out for the Olympic team, man. He wants you to be perfect.
He fits right in the Air Force. So yeah, no, that's crazy. No, I didn't know about that, but that's buddy. I can't go 3. I don't know if I've ever been able to go 3 minutes without a break. I'm gonna hit my foot on one of them ropes.
Yeah.
When I played with the Hornets, Byron Scott used to do that. Like you couldn't. It didn't matter if it was Chris Paul, whoever. You wasn't touching the floor until you jump rope for 5 minutes straight. And if it stopped, like assistant coach had a timer, and guys going on the floor like 3 or 4 guys at a time. They had 3 or 4 jump ropes, and if you like broke that time, they had to start all over. And by the time in that 5 minutes, as the season progressed, you got better and better in shape and stuff like that. But once you got off that jump rope, I mean, you were ready to pop, just go, sweating and good to go. But man, people don't understand how tough that is. Straight 5 minutes straight, 3 minutes straight. You think it's real easy, but it's really, really tough. I thought he was talking about like jump rope, like Mike Tyson or something. We talking about just regular jump rope.
Oh, you add that in there, we all would have been dead.
Y'all didn't do the Rocky Cross. Y'all didn't do the Rocky Cross on it.
No, you didn't want to risk
no. Marcus, my son Marcus Jr., he can do that. We came in the gym one time and he was doing it. I look at him like, the hell he get that from? I can barely jump rope straight, and he's just swinging it all around it, and then just let it flop. I'm like, mother, what I mean? I can't even jump.
Do that. That's a skill.
That's a skill, right? Man, put the jump rope down. That's enough.
What else, John? What else do you remember from out there back in your Cyclone days and Iowa State in general, anywhere around Iowa State? Just what's some fond memories you have? Because we all talk about how we actually love, Iowa. It was a cool place, but you from Nebraska, so you was close to home. But what did you like about Iowa and being there? Because I've been to Omaha a couple times, but what did you like about Iowa?
Man, I honestly just kind of. I mean, coming up in the city, you live in the city, and then you go to college in a smaller town. It changes the vibe a little bit, but it's good to kind of get to that slower kind of pace of living. The atmosphere of Iowa State, I mean, you got half students and you got half of the residents, so like that's all you got out there. And then if you want to get crazy, you can go to Des Moines or Ankeny or whatever, or anything like that. But the atmosphere was good. And it was a couple hours away from Omaha, so it was easy to get back. And I mean, it was wonderful. As far as football, man, every game that we won, that's always a good memory. I mean, even starting from my freshman year with the Inside.com Bowl, and that right there, I mean, George, I kind of want to hear the story that you heard, how I got in there, because we could have the same story.
Okay,
I missed you a little bit, but.
No, my story, because JJ was hurt.
Yep.
But JJ was hurt, and then Coach Mack came to you and said, "I guess it's now or never. Like you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do it at some point in time." What? So where am I off on that?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you how it really went. So JJ, so I'm only playing special teams at that time, freshman year, whatever. Only playing special teams, and JJ goes down, and then Mike Wagner, he was a second string running back, he goes down, and so the third punt returner was Adam Brunk, but they needed Adam to stay on defense, so they was like, just he got to stay on defense, like. Put him in that punt return is too much. So Coach Alford, he was the running backs coach at the time, and kick return, punt return, all that. And he throws me in because there ain't nobody else to pick up. Like there's nobody left. I'm at bottom of the barrel is me. So he throws me out there, and then Coach Mack looks at Coach Alford. Like what the fuck are you doing? That's what I was told on the coaching. What the fuck are you doing out there? And but what Coach Mack had said is like now or never. That was kind of like I think that was like a PR type thing for the media.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got a nonprofit I run, so sometimes I mute myself.
So
yeah.
So Coach Alfred told me out there, and then it just happened. It somehow it worked out the way it did. We called a right return. Everybody on the punt return team did their thing. Got their man on the inside shoulder, opened up that gap on the right side, and then man, I was running. I was scared as shit, honestly. It was such a big game, and yeah, man. So I just followed the damn mission. And got to the end zone, and then from there it was love after that.
So what is that feeling like? Freshmen getting in, everybody down, it's on you. So it's either gonna be horrible, or it's normally gonna be horrible or mediocre. But you had an awesome play. So like you broke that mold by going out there and doing that because it wasn't expected. Like nobody I don't think was expecting. That's why Coach Mack said what he said. But what was your feeling of doing that, being there and getting that score right?
Honestly, it really didn't sink in until after the game, and then weeks, months on after that, because during the game you kind of stay focused on what you got to do for the game. So like,
we got the footage. We got that beautiful beam footage right here, John. Hold on, let's see.
Beautiful beam footage.
But yeah, like during the game, man, it's like you just go out there and try to execute the best you can because. All the time you put in for practice, all the yelling that the coach has been doing, man, it all plays off once you stick to the program. And right there, I was like, I hope nobody's trying to strip that ball from a cover. The feeling, the excitement, it was all there. So much love. I mean, it was meant to be as far as for Iowa State being in a bowl game and then actually winning a bowl game. But at the moment, you kind of just stay focused in the game, and then it starts to unravel a little bit once you kind of it dies down. Everybody starts talking about it.
So I don't know if that was sped up or not. What's your 40? What was your 40 time at that? That looked sped up. I don't.
Nah, that was live play right there. That
was live.
Okay.
He said it was a little slow mo.
Nah, my 40. I wasn't that fast. My 40. I think I was like a 4.5 at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
I bet you was faster than that after that first year when Getty got a hold of you.
More flexible, stronger, faster, mentally stronger.
Yeah.
Getty did it all. But man, I remember even my junior year, my sophomore year, we played Alabama in the we're down in Shreveport. I think it was Independence Bowl. We played Alabama. Yeah, and then we kicked that field goal at the end. They say we missed it. We should have won that game, but I don't want to talk about that one too much. But sophomore year or junior year, when we played Nebraska at our home, and we finally beat Nebraska, man, that was like
people don't remember Nebraska.
Yeah,
that was the rivalry.
That was the rivalry. They used to. Hey, when I talked to the running backs after playing Nebraska, like Mike Wagner, Ennis Haywood, Hiawatha, rest in peace. When I talked to them, they talk about them boys was hitting hard. Like Nebraska used to bring it. Yeah. So, man, it was a good time though, man. Yeah.
That's what's up. We got a Planet question. What's your best Coach Mack story?
Oh man. Man. I would say I don't even know if I can kind of play it out loud how it was word for word. He used to say some funny ass shit. Like he say some one-liners after a meeting or something, or just to get us hyped up about something. And it's explicit lyrics and all that stuff, but he say some shit out there and we just look at him like, what the hell? Everybody starts cracking up. But I give you a story when we was playing, I think we was playing Nebraska my sophomore year, and man, Coach Mack was in the locker room, and we was getting beat at the time. And Coach Mack was hot, he was going off, and I think he was trying to let out all his energy, and it boiled up to where I think Matt Word was like the closest person to him, and he let his energy out, and he was just trying to get us motivated, and he swung and like hit Matt Word so hard in the chest. And and if we were in the times right now, he probably could have took that, had some legal defense behind him. But he hit Matt Word so hard, man. I was like, this dude is crazy. We got to go out and try to play. But Coach Mack was good, man. We used to have dunk contests at his house when he invited us over, during the summer, things like that.
Yeah,
man, just all around good guy, man. Real good.
That's what's up. Nah, that's what I mean. It's always good to hear the stories about, back at Iowa State. So some people don't get back as much as they would want to. And so it's like it's good to hear these stories and recap. And then, as the season goes on, we would have actually been back, because I heard it was electric there this past weekend. The atmosphere coming into the season was electric, and it's just getting more hyped as we go along and as we win. So I want to get these stories out there. But as we close out the show today on this Memorial Day, Labor Day. That's what people are working.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said I was asleep. Ain't that some
Hey, I had a long weekend. My kids been home for a long time. 3 days is too long.
3 days. My kids out next week, 3 days.
Oh, for real? No, I can't do it. I'm actually falling half asleep right now. Leave me alone, Brent. But as we close it out there, we wish you had a good time with your family. I hope you was listening to us, because you either just kicked your family out the house, or they still there and you want something on to make them leave the house. So we either are a good thing for you in one way, because we're getting the people out your house because they don't want to hear us talk. But either way, have a good night. We out. I don't know why I said that, but I did. Brent, don't look at me and don't judge me by this next week. Side of Storm, George Trice, Marcus Pfizer, Brent Curvey, and our special guest, John. As we do always, John, you get to close us out. Say what you want to say to the people out there.
Hey, listen. Well, first of all, I want to thank y'all again for having me on the show. To all the listeners, the fans of Iowa State, just keep that support going, man. The program is turned to leaf. I mean, we out there, we can finally recruit. We got the facilities for the people, for the players. The culture's there as far as what Coach Campbell's doing. But other than that, man, Iowa, I gotta throw this out there. Iowa, I think Coach Ferentz is trying to get his 200th win on his next game. So they're gonna be super pumped up. So whatever we can do as far as for the support, making Ames just crazy as possible. Man, you gotta do it for this week. Other than that, everybody be safe. Keep that support and that love going. I love y'all. Cyclone family.
Cyclones forever. Holla at y'all. And so, hey, hold on. One thing I got it. Man, we don't normally do this, but we got the shirts. Ship, can you throw the shirts on the screen? So we got these shirts supporting an initiative to support our women in sports. And so Three Beers Media is working with the We Will Collective, not Lady Sports, in support of Cyclones Women's Sports. So selling t-shirts, all the proceeds will go to the We Will Collective, earmarked for the women's NIL section out there. So you can join by supporting and use the store code XCV42. You can scan on the screen here if you're on your computer, scan with your phone. Is there a website if they can't scan that? Chip, can you throw a website out there in the chat? Paul Nobling, what's up? I see you out there.
We'll add that to the link. So we'll add that to the link in the podcast, on the audio podcast too. Yep.
All right, we will add that out there.
And it's a battle against Cyhawk because the Hawkeyes have got one out there too. So we need to touch them.
Who?
Is it just the team out west? I mean out east, or is it all three teams?
Nope, just team out east versus Iowa State. So
okay.
The toe.
Who?
he simply ignored that. Who? So we got a prediction 24-14 over Iowa. Oh, and Josh. So last week we all picked Iowa State to win the first three. Are you riding with us on that?
Oh, for sure.
Yes, sir. Hey, see y'all next week. Side of Storm signing off.
Peace.
At Revelton Distilling Company.
Chip, did you